I wanted to know, but the prayer and the answer always came to me, wait. For me, it was so good that it was so scary that I knew something had shifted, that someone had intervened in my life, and that nothing was going to be the same. When I grew up, I would actually have these very interesting dreams. They would last for a really long time. I mean, more than like 5 to 10 years. So when I was young and I was adopted at age 3 and came to America, adopted to my American family. So I needed to get used to what America was like, this new family, and you have to understand, like, my family was blonde with blue eyes and they were white, and they were, I mean, to everyone else, very different from me. But when I came, I had initially come feeling like, I always felt the love, I always felt connected, but I had never seen the differences. Like, I just didn't see the differences. I saw love. And so I was like, this is wonderful. It was interesting because as I grew older, because at age 3, that's where I was, but probably when I got too close to age 8, my mind logically started thinking about what's going on right now. So I have this American family, and my adopted mom is telling me I'm adopted. So I started asking this question then, where is the rest of my family? Like, where is my birth mom? Like, if this is my adopted mom and she's not my mom, then where's my real mom, you know? So I think that did start a seed. These dreams would come and they would stay a long time. So I would go to bed each night and I would see all these homes that were lining the street. And I would understand as I was looking at all these homes that I had a lot of confusion. And then I'm like, why am I confused? And then I feel like I'm lost. And I'm like, why am I lost? You know, and I realize I'm lost, like I'm lost. And I could see all these homes on the street, and it was really, really hard. And then I'd feel so sad because I'm like, wait, if I'm lost, whose homes are these? And I knew what I was doing. I was walking home from school each day, and I was trying to find my home, my adopted home. I was trying to find the home that I was brought to, raised in, and loved. This dream lasted for like 10 years. I didn't recall anything from my experience in Costa Rica. A lot of people ask that question. That's probably the number one question. Do you remember anything? And I don't, but I had that question to the Lord, like, why don't I remember all these things? Yeah, I had to move through that and say, okay, so who is my family then? Who's my birth mom? I have an American family. That means I have another family. And then why am I so lost in these dreams? And where is my home? And so it was just, you could tell my mind was trying to figure it all out. Right. And so that started me on the path of wanting to look for my birth mom. I have decided that I'm going to start praying because I had been taught about prayer, I've been taught about Christ, and as a young child, I was very adamant about knowing who God was. Was there really a Father out there? Because even though people were telling me that this is your family, and you have parents and this and that, like, they're also telling me there's a God and there's this Christ, and I was like, okay, a lot of people are telling me things I need to know, but I don't want to just believe. You know, I don't want to just say, oh, okay, because you told me. I want to know. I don't want to just, have faith, but I want to know. So I would turn to, my prayers and just be like a little, like, I don't know, shy, or are you there? And because my heart was just so yearning for something there, I knew I could feel a huge void. I knew this void was growing too. It's not that it wasn't already large, it's just that my logical mind, and growing into age 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 now, my logical side and me opening, it's like I started noticing the things around me. I I started seeing more of my reality. And I think that also came with trying to just understand my reality. Like, was I ready to understand all this? It was a lot for me to be in a completely different country, new language, new food, new people, new culture. And the answer is, you just accept it. And I'm going, does anyone understand how hard that is? Like, just accept it. Like, we've accepted it, you know, and I didn't know how to accept it. I didn't know how even to take in the good, even to take in so much of what was good too. And of course my number one desire was to find my birth mom. So I'd lay there in my bed, you know, all the time, like just imagining, like, is she in a kitchen? Is she in a home with an iron fence? Like, I just always like imagining how grand, or even like how simple, like, is she in like this small cottage? Is she, because I didn't really even know I couldn't remember. The internet wasn't there back then, and so the only time I would go to stuff, which I probably went to thousands of times just to feel like I could know my country, is I'd go to the encyclopedia and I'd look up Costa Rica, and that was like my only understanding of what the homes or this country of mine would even look like. But the prayer and the answer always came to me, wait, and I'm like, it's okay for me to ask and to search and to ponder and to think on these things, but wait a little longer. It wasn't until 18 years later I would then be moving out, I'd be doing my own life. I had a couple hard things happen in my family where I believe families are forever, right? But those hard trials really swayed me, and they really had me think, like, are families forever? Because I've had some misunderstandings or hurt or just confusion in my first with my birth family, you know, biological family, and then now I'm gonna have more in my adopted family, these trials. And so I'm just going back and forth, like, where does love sit? Where do families sit? Where do these eternal principles and promises really lay? Because of these trials, I decided to not really focus on finding mom anymore. It hurt to understand that families were imperfect. So I kind of, you know, got to my college years and you know, you had those rebellious teen years. I feel like emotionally and mentally I rebelled, and I was like, I don't even want to feel those. I don't want to even think about those. I have better things to do in my life. I'm gonna put those aside. And then I was in college and I was like, yeah, it's still better that way. I'm gonna put those aside. Because I had so many dreams and so many thoughts to what would happen and what would that look like, and what if I did find her. An opportunity when I was 18, I decided I will move out on my own. And it was about a year after that I had made that decision, that I was at my apartments in Orem. I was at the mailbox, and I am a person of habit. Like, I'm just habitual in everything. So it's like, okay, get up, get ready, go to the gym, go to work, come home, eat, be with friends. Like, it was just very, you know. And I was getting my mail, as I always do before I go to the gym, and I heard the sound afar off, and I'm like, wait, what is that? And I hear, hey, and I'm like, who's talking to me? And I look, and there's this guy, and he's my age, he's young, and he looks really nice. And he gets closer, and he's like, are you Costa Rican? He asked me this, and I'm like, I don't even recognize that. Like, how do you know I'm Costa Rican? Like, how do you even recognize that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm Costa Rican. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm Costa Rican too. And I'm like, wow, I've never met a Costa Rican. So I felt really out of my element. I'm just like, what do I do with you, you know? He had ended up telling me in our course of conversation that he was Costa Rican. He actually had returned on a mission to Costa Rica, and that he was from Orem, and that his parents had adopted more children from Costa Rica. I was excited. We made a date to meet. Then arrived at my adopted mom's home. We went inside to talk, and I told my mom before we got there, you know, I met someone and he's Costa Rican, he's gonna show me pictures of my country, I'm so excited. And I started realizing that my desire to want to know more was coming back now after meeting this person. And then my other question was, why do I feel like I want to find my mom again? So we were sitting there on the couch with my mom showing pictures and everything. And I was super excited. I loved that he showed me the colorful homes and the people and how their day was and what it looked like. And then I was so excited in the moment. I'm like, I must show him what my family's like, what happened to me. I wanted to show the pictures of my orphanage too to him and like what that looked like. So I ran downstairs and I went and got my baby book. As he was looking at them, he stopped. When he points to a picture and he goes, "What are my adopted parents doing in your book?" And I'm like, wait, what? I just had met this guy like 2 weeks ago. Never met him in my life. He literally, information now from him, he had literally just come to visit a friend. He didn't even live in the apartments. He was just visiting a friend. And then he saw me and he says, "She's Costa Rican. I'm gonna talk to her." And we're sitting on the couch having him point to a picture that he's like, "What are my adopted parents doing in your baby book?" And I look at that and I'm like, that's a good question. My mom looks at me and she looks at him and we're just like, what's going on? As we're looking, my adopted mom like catches up her brain, right? And is like, "Okay, how does this connect?" And then she stops and she goes, "Wait, who are your adopted parents?" And he says who they are. And then she goes, "Wait, what adoption agency were you adopted from?" And he says, "The agency." And she's like, "Oh my goodness." She's like, don't worry, you guys are not related." She's like, she's like, "See, look at the picture closely, Anna. Your little sister from Chile was brought with someone that needed to bring her to us, kind of like a social worker, but it was with this adoption agency." And she said, "Remember how I told you your little sister was brought?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "See how she's in the picture?" And I said, "Yeah." And then she looked at my friend and she's like, "That's your mom. She brought your little sister to me. We were from the same adoption agency, and that's where I worked with this adoption agency to get your sister and you guys. His mom is the one that brought your little sister from Chile to me." For me, it was so good that it was so scary that I knew something had shifted, that someone had intervened in my life, and that nothing was going to be the same. I went to bed and then weeks went on and we kept in touch. I was at work and he had given me a call. He's just super energetic, super positive. So, "Hi Anna, how's it going?" You know? He's like, "Hey, I have some news. I have some exciting news." His name is Wade. And Wade is like, "Okay, so Anna, me and my friends, which are my past mission companions, are going to go back to Costa Rica. And you're going to come with us. And I'm going to help you find your birth mother." And I'm 21 years old, and it's 18 years later that I am now going to return back to my country.